Greetings, this is Skyler Saunders seeing what's current. Mr. Troy Star Terrain went in today on Melly Mel, especially. He did some light commentary about some of the performers at the New York Yankees Bronx 50th celebration of the birth date of hip hop. Now, I'm not going to go down that route. I'm going to go into a different route. Some people were in the chat making, funny comments saying like, well, why wasn't Cuckoo Cow there? Why wasn't Silk the Shocker there? Why wasn't Ray Cash there? Stuff like that, Trying to stir up the pot, making, little troll jokes about people that, some people were naming people that are dead. I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. Where was Biz Marquee and stuff like that? I'm like, damn, it's kind of harsh. It's a hard blow. But it's more engaging. It's more fun when you have, Mr. Terrain talking about how Melly Mel just, definitely put his hat in his hand and has to bow his head, walking around Eminem now. he gave that white boy all the props and praise and said that he fell short. And he didn't give any props and praise or acknowledgement to people like Jay-Z and Ja Rule that he dumped on. But this one right here, is about the ones that make you wonder, where are they now? But I have a different way of saying it. Will they ever be back? Back in the sense of prominence. Back in the sense of, I guess today's generation calls it relevance. If there were ever factors, or will they ever be factors again if they were? And the first person that came to mind was Emil, because to go back, the death of Magoo, he had the nasal flow, he had the different little rhyme patterns. That's what made him stand out from the rest of the crowd. It made him, a staple of, Timbaland and Missy Elliott's crew and Aaliyah. So, he was gone at 50, the same age as, hip hop, dead at 50. They didn't have any other pictures except him with a red suit, a red jacket on, and a red New York Yankees cap on. But I was wondering, I swear, just a few days or not a few weeks ago, where is Magoo? Now I know he's about to be 6 feet under. I haven't seen any reports about the cause of death. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up. Still has no reports of him how he died. But I just was wondering. I was like, what? Magoo had a run. Late 90s, sure. Almost 30 years ago. But he had a run. He had a super producer behind him. He had Timbaland. He had a superstar with Missy Elliott. And all he had to do was keep his nasal flow and his different ways of speaking the rhymes. And that's all he had to do. That's all he had to do. That's everything about him. Rock and power to him. He put his mark on the game. Wasn't a significant mark, really. But it was still there. It was still felt. His presence was felt. Okay. Now, his death actually inspired this vlog. And the people that are still living, I wonder about. I'll give you the first one. Emil. Where is Emil? Where are they now? But, the big question I want to know is, will they ever be back? Could she attain top 40, top 20 status like she did with Jay-Z? Mainly her whole idea was features. That was probably their method and their formula. Make sure she's on a track. Just her feminine approach to a record for Rockefeller. So, I saw a few licks, from her discography. She came out with songs later on. She came out on a mixtape. but none of them really surfaced, and none of them really had as big as an impact as you would expect from someone. And let me make a quick ad. Subscribe to Smooth Tunes, Spirit Smooth. I always mess it up. Spirit Smooth Tunes on YouTube. Tell them I sent you. That's a very important sponsor. He's the only one of the 50 club where you contribute $50 a month. So, back to Mill. Mill, she had bars. She wasn't the greatest, and most influential, but she was the lady of the rock. She was the first and the last. Uh, you know, rapper, female. There was Tia Marie at towards the end of Rockefeller. And after that dissolved, I guess she was just like, I can't go back to Rockefeller. I can't go back to the label. Might as well start my own label. Might as well start, another career elsewhere. But it's just something that I'm thinking, like, first thing you think is probably, oh, that's sad. Oh, isn't that shame? But they got to remember, it's nobody's business to treat you the business of business. It's nobody's business but your own. You have to search, you have to find, you have to discover, you have to research, and complete the mission of being a full-fledged artist. I'm just reading, the ins and outs. I guess it's a credible source, but it was about Sir Mix-a-Lot. His song Anaconda. How he must have made a bundle off of Anaconda. But the fact is, it samples another song from other songwriters, other creators. So that's a percentage taken away. The company, the record company, owns a percentage of the recording because of the masters. That's why you have to own your masters and do something with them. Lupe Fiasco said that about Jay-Z. He was saying how Jay-Z's got his masters. Let me get my masters. And it's like, well, Leroy Cohen was like, well, what are you gonna do with them? Like, that's a good point. It's like, what do you do with your masters? Okay, I got my masters. What do? Are you gonna license? Are you gonna allow other people to use your music? What are you gonna do with your masters? Because that's what it's all about, the business of show. That's primarily the issue. The business of show. Beyond anything else, it's all about the dollar sign, as it should be. And people get confused. People think, well, it's for the art. Oh, of course it's for the art. Common even asked that. Wonder if it's for the art or for the dough. It's for both. You don't get the art, you don't get the dough unless you have good art. That's facts. There's a reason why so many people are, entwined with this recording industry, because they go in and they think everything's hunky dory, and then they got 10 to 100 pages of documents, describing their whole career, their whole life, everything that is important to them. That's where it gets to be very suspicious. But I digress. Back to my list. Mr. Silk the Shocker. Silk the Shocker. His real name is, let me say it, Silk. Vishon King Miller. Vishon King Miller. So he definitely had an impact. He had songs with Maya. He had songs with Trina. He was doing his thing back in the late 90s, early 2000s. His offbeat flow, his, non sequiturs and different words that he put into his songs, they were very, impactful in a sense, to a degree. He wasn't the greatest lyricist. He wasn't the greatest rapper. Like I said, he rapped off beat, much like today's Blueface. He had a completely offbeat flow, and a lot of his rhymes didn't scan, but he had a charisma. Coming from the family of, Percy Miller, aka Master P, my favorite rapper of all time, and his older brother C Murder, locked up behind bars right now. He had a lot going for him. He had a lot of people backing him. He had the right state of mind. He kept it all together. He kept it in the space of being someone that could manage a distinctive sound. But again, will he ever be back in the game? Will he ever be a rapper again? What are the chances of him being another superstar? He's 44. He's 45 years old right now. Could you imagine him coming into the game again? Oh no, excuse me, not 45. He's 48 years old right now. So I'm wondering if he can ever be, listed as one of the greatest, even though he had such an offbeat and unusual flow. Can he be back in the game? Can he take on these young wolves out in these streets? Out on these YouTube streets, to be exact. Because YouTube is definitely the new hood. That's where we come in and we get it in. So Silk the Shocker. Silk the Shocker. He's often named one of the worst rappers of all time. But again and again, he had the flow, he had the offbeat rhythm, and he was one of the best to do it. All right. I want to know about Crazy Bone, Lazy Bone, Busy Bone, and there's one more. I'm going to look on it right now. And Wishbone. So, what are they doing? Are they on tour? Are they going around the world? Are they pumping gas somewhere in New Jersey? What's going on with Bone Thugs and Harmony? What's happening in their lives? Could they come back in the game? Not even where they are now, but can they come back? And then not call it a comeback like LL Cool J. Make sure people understand what they're saying and how they communicate. Their biggest song, of course, was Crossroads. And they're probably the second or third favorite are For the Love of Money and First Day of the Month. Or First of the Month, whatever. So, all the bones. Where are the bones? Where are the bones? Can they reconstruct themselves? I remember they had they almost had like a similar comeback with a song called Home Take Me Home, Phil Collins sample. I was like, okay, Bone Thugs and Harmony. I was feeling that song. It's a good song. And I was just thinking about, everybody that is associated with them, who had some appeal are dead. Eazy-E is dead, So it just seems to me, it strikes me as something that is very crucial to their identities. says something about who they are. I think that, I want to say that they are busy, and that, what's his name? Hold on, let me make sure. There's a lot on Wikipedia. New album. They have a lot of studio albums. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 new studio albums. And their latest was called New Waves, and it came out 6 years ago. So they're not, thinking about putting out product every year. They're taking their time. They're not thinking about how people will receive them. They're concerned more with whether they can make great art or not. That's the idea. So, with everything that has transpired in their lives, it is important to say that they're on their way, whichever way they want to go. They can get back in the game, probably go on tour, go around the world, freak white girls in Europe, and yellow girls in Asia, East Asia. Go to Africa, get some jungle coochie. Yeah, that's real. So, if Bone Thugs-n-Harmony are serious about creating something again, they should be able to, lock in on how the aspects of what it means to be in that realm, in that space. That's what is so important, to understand when and where they'll be in a space to create new music and even better music. That'll be even better. That'll be even greater. Now, we talk about hip hop. We gotta go back to a genre where people most likely don't even realize is in existence anymore. I'm talking about rhythm and blues, or R&B. This basically means, singing, mainly love songs, some songs about paying others' bills and nothing going on but the rent and all kinds of mess. But I want to get into Latavia Roberson. Latavia Roberson. She was one of the main components of Destiny's Child. She had a run. She had a good run, a few years with the outfit. Then they changed people like 3 or 4 times. What is she doing, and what can she get back in the game? Can she get back in the sense of saying she is a person of weight, she's a person of substance and of purpose? She has to exude that. She has to show that with her actions. She could be a solo artist. Now, she's not going to be as big as Beyonce. The closest person bigger, just in terms of pop music, Taylor Swift has the throne. She can't be touched. Everything she touches turns to platinum or diamonds. Everything. Like, I don't even think she deals with anything gold. I'm just speculating. They're probably gonna be on the chat line. Oh wait, she's got a gold record. She's got a gold single. That's cute. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, I've gotten reports that she's already a billionaire, based on her touring and her streams. That's a special ticket. That's what's so special about her. But back to Latavia Roberson. I mean, she had, she was in a girl group. She wasn't a lead singer. She wasn't a solo artist. So Latavia Roberson, you know, she has a web series. She has films. It says she wants to return to music. She has a magazine out called Slugfest Magazine. It featured Roy Jones Jr. and was published 4 years ago. She has a sad story. She revealed that she suffered from alcoholism after Destiny's Child. This led her to being arrested for driving while intoxicated. She got a DWI. She had treatment. She gave birth to a daughter with a producer, Don Vito. She suffered the late term loss of a baby girl. She didn't have a baby with her second child. Excuse me. She had a second child with her. They're not saying she's married, but with Don Vito. Well, these are the sad songs. But they shouldn't be sad songs. They should know the business. The business of business. That's what they should know. She sold over 25 million records with Destiny's Child. Believe that. Oh, I got one. And then one person went away. Okay, great. So, moving right along, Farrah Franklin. Now, Farrah Franklin has a different story, too. Seems like she's doing more. She's, like, engaged. She's in television rather than music. She was in Power Book 3 on Showtime. And I'm just gonna run right through these. I'm gonna say, she had a definite run with Destiny's Child. That's a big whole quagmire. Just discussing how the band went so many different ways. The group went so many different ways. But guess who stayed on the whole time? Beyonce. She knew what time it was. She knew she wasn't gonna get replaced. She could replace Kelly Rowland and Michelle, even though they weren't. They were the final, 3 that made the list. That's what this is so interesting to me. Music and hip hop and rap and jazz and blues and classical, any all the music. Just the sad stories behind all the singer-songwriters and producers and arrangers and everybody like that. It's very sad. Rich boy, selling crap, dope, want a jet, tight, no slack, just bought a Cadillac. Throw some D's on it, and I'm not gonna say anymore because I get a copyright strike. I thought he was gonna take over the game. I really did. I'm wrong on a lot of occasions. I really thought that Rich boy was gonna keep throwing some D's. I thought he was gonna get, the ladies record. He had that. He had a serious record. He had that. He had all those. He had the different elements of an MC, and it just all came crashing down. Everything that transpired was just sadness. And he's probably still trying to do shows somewhere, getting $5,000, a pop somewhere. But that's the sadness of Rich Boy. Now, Jodeci, Casey and JoJo. Are they going to get back in the game? Is there any place? Is there any space for R&B acts? Rappers want to be singers, and singers want to be rappers. So it's like a mixture. It's like instead of having the chorus, verse, rap break, bridge, and chorus again, it's virtually all auto tune, singing, and a continuance of rap all on the same record. That's what it's like. So will Jodeci and Casey and JoJo ever be relevant, quote unquote, in this game again? It's hard to tell. All right, Black. Black is an interesting case. Black is interesting because they had in their mind that, at least Rock and Power, Lisa Left Eye Lopez was going to be their savior. She was not their savior. They quickly disbanded after doing very well on the charts and certifications. They just faded out. They went into the ether, sadly. And I'm just doing a short list. There's too many to name. There's really, especially in this amount of time. But Diggable Planets had a song. It's cool like that. It's cool like that. You say it's cool like that. Yeah, they had that sense of who they were for a good time period. The 90s. They had the lighted microphone. They had the Roots will say never do what they do, lighted microphones in the video. That's interesting though. But so this come from the same era, similar kind of alt hip hop. Arrested Development, they had like 3 songs. They had Tennessee, they had Mr. Wendell, they had at least 2 songs. I can't think of the 3rd song, but they had at least 2 songs. So they were big for a moment. I think they won a Grammy. It's a special case with them. It's interesting. All right, I'm gonna do an asterisk on this one. This is Sir Mix-a-Lot. He's one of the most intelligent hip hop artists in history. He knew about publishing and masters ahead of time, except the sad fact that he doesn't own his masters, but he owns his publishing. And like I said before, there are other screenwriters, or not screenwriters, but songwriters that can take the credit from a song. And Sir Mix-a-Lot's song, "Little I Like Big Butts, I Cannot Lie," he sampled another song, so he has to make sure they get credit. He has to get credit. The label gets credit. Everybody gets their own piece of the pie. And once you wind up with that, that's the end of it. That's a wrap. A few more. Mint Condition. Mint Condition was strong in the 90s, early 2000s, and then it went away. They went poof. It was a wrap. Total. What happened with it? There's another classic bad boy, sad tale. They had 2 studio albums, Total and Kima, Keisha, and Pam. In 2019, Pamela Long, one of the members of the group, she had announced that she was working on a debut solo album. That would have changed the game. That would have been something special. So they were at like the early 90s. They did Biggie's Juicy and Hypnotize. So they're past their prime in a sense if they come back in the game. Escape. The person that can see out his mind is Tiny. She's with T.I. He's got money. It's long. He's got his publishing and masters. I'm sure he has Grand Hustle Records. I think they're okay. SWV, Sisters with Voices. Where are they right now? Where are they living? How is life? Can they get back in the game? My question. Ray Cash. I'm a pimp in my own mind. A pimp in my own mind. Where is he? And not only that, can he get back in the game? I doubt it highly. He only had a few, 2 singles, both of my music and my own sex appeal. And finally, I'm gonna wrap it up with somebody that I was very interested in seeing a documentary. The documentary wasn't very good, well produced, but it gave the idea. Cuckoo Cow had the #1 song in the country and ended up. This is the best part for me. A truck driver, an honest, clear-cut, reality-based occupation. A truck driver. Now you can clown him, you can make fun of him, all you want. But somebody that said, "No, I'm not going to go back into the drug or go into the drug game. I'm not going to steal and rob and do anything like that. I'm going to become a trucker. I'm going to get my CDL and bump my own music in my truck." You know, he can do that in my projects. You know, so that's what is the wrap up for that. I thank you for listening. Thank you for holding me. I had 0. I saw 1 person come in, but 0 people in the live stream. Please take note that this show isn't for free. I actually have to use lighting and different techniques, and this MacBook wasn't free. So I appreciate everyone turning and telling 2 other friends. That third one misunderstand what's going on. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Take care. Yeah, fuck that.